What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, we're in the shop and we're talking mods. And am I finished yet? Probably not. But I do want to go over the mods I've done so far. And believe it or not, there have been 11 of them. Some of them little tiny ones. Other ones, well, you'll see in a moment. So stay tuned. I thought we'd start at the front of the bike. And at the very front is the newest mod I put on just today. And that brings me to this. This is the Enfield Accessories 25mm carbon fiber riser. And what they do is they send you 4 of these risers with bolts to bring your fender up 25mm more, which will give you plenty of space for not only a thicker tread, but also to clean the mud out. It won't get stuck up underneath the fender. And I think this is a really good mod, not necessarily right this second, but for future tire upgrades, if you know what I'm saying. And it's relatively inexpensive. I think it was like $13 or $14. Shipping is about the same though. But it is a really good little mod. And again, it's from Enfield Accessories out of the UK. So I've got quite a few things from them. I think they make some pretty good stuff. Staying with the front and just above the risers are these little crash bar bags that there's 2 zippers on them, and I keep, actually I don't know if you can see inside there or not, there's a little space in there and a little space in here with a zipper as well too. And I use this for everyday use. They come from Hitchcock's out of the UK as well, and they attach to the upper crash bar to protect your tank and the front end. And I'll tell you what, it's probably one of the most convenient mods that I put on the bike so far, because right now I'm not sporting any of the panniers as of yet. That's going to be coming, and I'll tell you what I'll be putting on it here in a minute. But basically it gives me the ability to carry stuff without having extra load in the back. In other words, let's say I don't really need the panniers on. I'm just going to run around the local roads here, some off-road stuff back in the woods. I'm not really necessarily going to go camping or anything. I just wanted something to carry, like extra fuel, some bottles of water, maybe some batteries, camera accessories, things like that. If I need to go to the store and pick up a dozen eggs, it'll fit right in there. So things like that. That's the kind of stuff that these little bags really shine at. They give you storage where you don't have any without having the panniers on the back. So for me, this has been probably one of the most useful mods that I've had so far. And again, it comes from Hitchcock's out of the UK. And I'll tell you what, they're not that expensive. I think the pair were like, don't quote me on this, but I will put a link in the description. I think it was like 17 bucks, something like that. It's really inexpensive. They're really well made, and you know, they got the cute little Himalayan mountains on there as well too. But I think it's a really good mod, and it's practical. It's a practical mod. Let's move on. Still up front, the Pro phone mount from Enfield Accessories. And I'll tell you, I use this thing all the time. Anytime I'm making a video, I've got my camera mounted on this little critter right here. But it gives me the ability to have not only a camera, but if I want to put a separate GPS unit there, and of course it's got this USB. Now I'm going to consider this a separate mod altogether because I had to change things on it. It normally comes to a little bracket in the front, and let me see if I can slide around there and show you. Man, it might be hard to see, but down inside of there is a little bracket. Well, the problem with that is, and this is a big issue that I hope not Royal Enfield, but Enfield Accessories fixes, is you can't get your finger down in there to turn the switch on and off. And unfortunately, Royal Enfield doesn't have an auxiliary power supply in the headlight like a lot of other motorcycle brands do. Now I hear they do in the Interceptor and the Continental, but I don't have one. So in this particular bike, I had to actually wire this up separately, which meant I had to run the wire down underneath the gas tank and hook it directly to the battery, which means that when I'm going to be using this, you turn the switch on, see the little red light come on there? I want to be able to turn it off too, because there's a little toggle, off or on, off, there's on, there's off. And that way I can make sure I'm not getting a drain. I know there's probably a little parasitic drain on it anyways, but I still have the ability to charge my batteries as I'm going. But that's something that I wish that the folks there at Enfield Accessories would have taken consideration, because you can change the angle of the windshield so it'll fit in there. I still couldn't get my fingers in there, and to be honest with you, I didn't like the way it looked. So I went back to it being in its normal position, away from the headlight, and then that way I can reach it. Now I've got it zip tied on there right now, but I will eventually, when I'm happy with the position, probably use some 3N tape and stick it there. But it comes bolted to the unit, but I didn't like where it was at. Now I'm going to consider the RAM mount, phone mount, a mod, and I'll tell you the reason why. It fits perfectly on the handlebar clamp that goes across through here. It just has a big claw on there, and it tightens down, and I'll tell you what, it's a perfect fit. Gives me the ability to see my phone. Yeah, I can either, like if you've seen the video, the last video I did, where I was using my app for the GoPro, I could actually see when the camera was a different position, I could actually see what was going on right there. So I didn't have to take my eyes off the road. And if you remember correctly, I was on some pretty rough gravel roads. So this right here gives me the ability to see my phone, if it's got it on GPS or got it on a front camera, or if I'm just listening to music or making phone calls. It's just right here, and it's right, and then I can adjust it up and down. I can take it and turn it to this profile like this, and again, adjust it up and down. And the really cool thing is I can take it off with just unscrewing this big nut, the big wig nut down here. It's perfect. And again, it's a RAM mount X grip. I'll put all this stuff in the links in the description. Again, I paid for everything. I had nothing here for free, guys. Boy, I wish I did, but I didn't. But again, this is a really good addition, and I consider it a mod. One of my most popular videos I've made on modifications was the Givi crash bar. And I think it is, not only it's super strong, I think the reason why I got it more than any of the other crash bars available on the market, even the OEM Royal Enfield, was the fact that it bolts to the frame here and has a bar that connects to the other side, which gives you complete stability. I mean, this thing's built like a tank. I got a cute little plastic slider here, which I really don't know what that's for, other than maybe saving the bar as you're sliding down the road. But that's the last thing I personally worry about. But it's got a really good profile to it too. Let's kind of swing around and give it a better look here. But you can kind of see it really adds to the, I say, the beauty or the industrial look of the motorcycle as well too. And I guess that's what this bike is best known for. It's got an old school, I don't maybe not say old school, but an industrial style look. It looks like a machine. It looks like a tractor. A lot of the other bikes on the market look like bees. I swear to God, you see some of the stuff, if they were painted yellow, you'd think a yellow jacket was running down the road. But this bike here looks like a workhorse, and it rides like a workhorse. It is, I mean, it's like getting on the back of a mule and doing work. And that's one of the reasons why I love the bike so well. The very first modification I did to the Royal Enfield Himalayan was putting on this right here. And this is the outside lead for the Battery Tender Junior. What the Battery Tender Junior is a small float style, trickle style charger that maintains the battery in pretty much all weather conditions. In other words, I have every motorcycle I own has these Battery Tender Juniors on, and what it does is help increase the life of the battery. I hear a lot of people complain about the Royal Enfield battery. I haven't had a lick of problems with it, but again, I have it on this thing anytime it's not running. I let it cool down, then I plug this thing in, make sure she's on the wall, and I let her go. That 750 milliamp that keeps the battery at its prime level, doesn't let it drop any, but yet doesn't overcharge it and let it boil out. It's really one of the best battery extending devices that you can ever use. I actually have on my Road King, I've had the Battery Tender, and I have the same battery for 10 years. I'm not going to say I'm going to get that kind of use out of the Himalayan. However, it's going to be on here, and I've had zero issues with battery. Let's move on to the next one, which is really close by. Another mod from Enfield Accessories is this heel guard. And I'll be honest with you, when I first looked at it, I thought, do I really need that? But then after going through a bunch of brush and having not only my heel resting again here. Again, I'm 6'2", and I've got pretty good sized feet, and my foot rests up against here, particularly standing up and down. And I've had, if you see right here, there's a couple little nicks. That's from brushing rocks, and what? That's right there. So, I mean, I think it's a good addition. It's not an expensive mod. It'll help protect your master cylinder plunger here, and here's your reservoir at the top, which I forgot to mention when we were doing the Givi, you get a little bracket here to move it. Some people say they don't have to move it. I like it back out of the way, so I use the bracket that came with it. But as far as getting back to the this heel guard here, again, that proof right there shows you that something hit that pretty hard, and that might have been on this as well. And that's something you want to make sure that you protect this master cylinder. That's your rear brake plunger, and it's going to maintain the, when you push down, it gives pressure to the hydraulics, and that's what makes you slow down or stop. It's relatively expensive. Again, another product from Enfield Accessories, and it's been, I wouldn't say something you're going to notice right away, but if you don't have it, you'll wish you did. Moving towards the back of the bike brings us to the Royal Enfield OEM pannier braces or brackets. This, I'll tell you, this system here, I've used it to mount some backpacks to it, and again, you know, you have two backpacks, one on either side. You just fish it through there and attach it with some tie-down straps, and it works perfectly. Now, I haven't put any panniers on it yet, but you'll see that in upcoming videos. But I'll tell you one thing. A lot of guys, when they watch my video, are saying, hey, I had a lot of problems getting this thing bolted up. Well, I'll tell you, the main thing you want to make sure when you're using this system is to make sure everything is super loose. In other words, do not tighten any of the bolts. Leave them all, I mean, just get them threaded. Make sure that the threads are nice and clean. Make sure the bolt will run in there and out, and then just put a few twists in it, get a little bite to it. I mean, they're quite long bolts, and then just put every bolt in it, and then tighten everything up, and then torque it down. It fits perfectly. A lot of people say, well, I had issues. Well, if you tighten, let's say you're tightening the bolts down before you put all the pieces together, you'll have issues. I promise you, you will. But if you make everything loose, then you won't. Which brings us to the immediate second mod that's part of that, which is the turn signal relocation mod. And again, this is a Royal Enfield product as well too. And what it does is it gives me the ability to move the license, or the turn signal, not the license plate, but the turn signals back away from up here where they're located when you get it from the factory, which gives you more space and gives you the ability to do some stuff in here as well too. Because you know, if your panniers or whatever, your soft or your hard bags are going to be out here, you actually have some room here that you could maybe put a fuel bottle underneath. Think about that. There's a possibility of a fuel bottle. You can put, let's say you're going on a long distance trip in the BLM lands or places in the outback, might. You can actually put a chart in here in a chart tube and strap it in. So moving the turn signals not only gives you a better view for them, but also gives you some practical space here as well too on both sides. And I know some guys are actually rigging some of the fuel. The Rotopax fuel packs in here. I don't know how they're doing it, but I've seen somebody do it. I don't really know anything more than that, but I've seen it. But it gives you the opportunity to give yourself some more space in there for more things to add to the bike if you really want to. So again, a combination of the pannier rails or racks or brackets and the relocation is really, really essential if you're going to be doing this for off-road touring or even, you know, back-road touring. This next mod is a combination of vanity and practicality. This here is a Enfield Accessories product as well too, and it is a little filler spot or filler plate that covers up the turn signal hole. And it's the reason why I think it's both looks wise and also practicality wise is it gives you something there that's just not a hole in your fender. but it also keeps dust out, because where it's connected, there's an inner fender underneath here, and if you just have that hole, you know, mud and water and dirt and dust and everything else can pile up underneath in this inner fender and not be able to get out. But this here, it eliminates it all together, and I think it looks really cool. The fact of it is that there's no open hole shown there. I think this is a cool little mod. And again, it's from Enfield Accessories as well too. Which brings me to my final, and without a doubt, my most, what do you call the best way to say this? It's a vanity mod. You know, these silver bolts. So it comes with the Pannier Bolt Kit when you get it from Royal Enfield, and I didn't really like the way they look. Well, Enfield Accessories has a cure for me, and it is a black bolt kit. You can see it right here. What they do is they give you 6 different bolts for all sides, and then actually 4 more for the license plate or the turn signal relocation bracket, and it takes that silverness away. But I think another thing I thought it was nice about is on the original kit, it's a button head, and I don't like button heads. In fact, when I was torquing it down on this particular side, it started to roll on me, and I'm thinking, man, if I do anything else, change anything around, want to take stuff off and on, that soft button head is no good. But these guys are not. They are the solid tip. In other words, I forget what it's called off the top of my head. I know somebody will probably yell at me in the description, but what it is it gives you the ability to have a little bit more strength and stability, and it really adds to the look. Now you don't have those goofy silver bolts sticking out. It just kind of flows. Again, between the blanking space there and the black bolts, man, that's pure vanity, baby. I just really, you know, black is beautiful, and I'll tell you that is, I mean, I think it really adds to the motorcycle as well too. Again, another Enfield Accessories mod, and I think it really adds to the way the bike looks. Well, that's pretty much a look at what we've done as far as modifications so far to the 2018 Royal Enfield Himalayan. And I'm pretty sure that all of these different modifications that I made will fit no matter what year of Himalayan you have. But make sure you check with the manufacturer before you do the ordering. And again, the links for all these will be in the description. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification button, share and comment. You know I read all the comments and comment on as many as I possibly can. Until next time, ride safe and keep her on 2 wheels, baby.